Good morning, good morning, good morning, folks. Welcome to another episode of Spilling Tea, and we interrupt going over the JRC's freaking brain-numbingly stupid response to New York State Department's of Education 2006 report to give you something breaking, something we should celebrate, but should also make us double down. Okay. So this came out yesterday, right literally as I got home from the dentist. I went in and I saw this here. So what is happening? Well, let's do the usual disclaimers, shall we? All right, so folks, first of all, in the description box, you are going to find the link to the article that JRC doesn't want you to read. Now I know why. It is written by Neuroclastic, a small non-for-profit started by autistics for autistics, in which they interviewed and surveyed over 900 ABA professionals in regards to the JRC quote-unquote entirety of their behavioral treatment program. They have threatened Neuroclastic with a defamation lawsuit if they do not yank the article. Neuroclastic has refused. We will not be silenced, folks, especially not now. So, please read that article, folks, and share it on all your social media. You'll also find the public statement from Neuroclastic on the matter. And also down at the bottom of the description box, you're going to find in that the GoFundMe for Neuroclastic's legal fees if need be, okay? Share if you don't have anything to be able to give. We also have the other pertinent links to the Stop the Shocks campaign, because remember, the shocks, they're just a small part of the massive amounts of insanity and abuse and horror they inflict on the students of the JRC. So you are going to find first Autistic Hoya's massive archive on the subject, in which they go into detail not just on the shocks, but all the other horrific aversives that are used on the students at the JRC. You also have the templates, which was created by ASAN and other advocates, where literally it's idiot proof. All you got to do is sign your name and click on your senator. And right now, folks, put fucking pressure on your senator, all right? Put goddamn pressure on your senator. Everybody. Everybody, no excuses, all right? We are in the goddamn home stretch here. All right? Okay. We also have the ever-present and self-explanatory Change.org Shut the Judge Rotenberg Center Down petitions, because every time we take a fucking step forward with this particular case, somehow this school manages, either through appeal or God even knows how, they somehow always manage to still keep the shocks, even when things exciting like this is going on. So, my solution, shut them down. Just shut them down. I'm sorry, but I am beyond jaded at this point. Should not have taken 3 goddamn decades to fight these bastards. That is clinically fucking insane. But moving on. When we talk about the JRC, folks, you're going to hear vivid descriptions of and catch clips of surveillance footage of people with disabilities being tortured and abused. If you have young children present, please use your headphones, all right? Okay, it is 8:52. I am not here yet, so blah. If I stumble over my words, apologies in advance, all right? Now let's get to the good news, shall we? On June the 13th, 2022, the House approves ban on electric shock devices for those with developmental disabilities. This is coming to you via disability scoop, and this article is also going to be in the description, all right? Congress is moving to ban devices used to administer electric shocks on people with developmental disabilities in an effort to modify their behavior, a practice that advocates have long decried as torturous. The U.S. House of Representatives. I hate when they say it's just us advocates. Everybody seems to fucking leave out the fact that the UN Special Rapporteur on Torture has declared it torture twice, and has petitioned the goddamn White House since goddamn 2013 to get this place closed down. It's not just us, folks. Moving on. The U.S. House of Representatives voted 392 to 28 last week to approve the Food and Drug Administration's Act, a broad bill reauthorizing programs at the Food and Drug Administration. Tucked inside the legislation is a provision that would put an end to the use of what are known as electric stimulation devices, which send shocks through electrodes attached to the skin in order to condition people not to engage in self-injurious or aggressive behaviors. Again, that word condition fucking makes me twitch. Makes me fucking twitch, folks. But it just makes them stop, Tiffany. No, it doesn't. Those shocks, little bee stings, should not make somebody be screaming at the level we hear in that Andre McCollins video. It should not be causing the levels of PTSD that we see in people like Jennifer Masumba and Andre McCollins. Okay? We good? Please spare me your bullshit. The devices are believed to be used at only one facility in the U.S., the Judge Rotenberg Center in Canton, Massachusetts, which serves children and adults with developmental disabilities as well as behavioral and emotional problems. That should tell you something, shouldn't it? If it's only used in one place on the fucking planet, including in that countries who live under brutal dictatorships, what the fuck does that tell you? Just saying. Disability advocates have worked for years to bar the practice, and in 2020, the FDA finalized a ban on the devices after determining they pose an unreasonable and substantial risk of illness or injury. The agency cited evidence of psychological and physical risks, including burns, tissue damage, worsening underlying symptoms, depression, anxiety, and post-traumatic stress disorder. But the Rotenberg Center sued, and last summer, the U.S. Court of Appeals for the D.C. Circuit found that the FDA overstepped its authority and overturned the regulation. The legislation now heads to the Senate, where advocates say they are hopeful that the provision banning the electrical stimulation devices will be included. Contingent electric shock for the purposes of behavior modification is inhumane and ineffective and has been condemned by the United Nations as torture. Thank you, Julia. Julia Bascom, Executive Director of Autistic Self-Advocacy Network. We hope the Senate will act swiftly. Folks subjected to these shocks have been waiting for far too long. Now we're going to hear the bullshit that is from the JRC. Supporters of the Rotenberg Center, however, are not backing down on what they say is the last resort for individuals with severe behaviors who are not responded to other treatments. They use the same bullshit over and over and over and over again, don't they? God, I'm tired. God, I am so tired. They tote that line and then they take a few token instances in order to justify marginalizing and torturing an entire fucking group of people. They use a few severe instances to dehumanize not only the people that they're talking about, but an entire fucking group of people, an entire neurotype all across the fucking world to gaslight us into believing that they know what's best for us. And I am so tired. It's torture, JRC. It's torture in the worst case scenario. It's torture in the best case scenario. It's torture. It's torture. If we do not approve it for the most violent criminals in the fucking planet, why are we approving it for people with disabilities? Why are we considered less human than people who have committed mass murder? Can I say that again for the people in the back? Why in the name of fucking God are we considered less human and less deserving of human rights than mass murderers? Explain that to me, JRC. The parents of the guardians and the clients of the blah, 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 it's not life-saving. It's not life-saving. Let's propose it to say that because I can't stomach their bullshit for any much longer, then I can fucking taste it. These parents have drunk the Kool-Aid so bad they can't see what's happening even right in front of their own fucking eyes. It's much like AH stands, in fact. They've seen the truth. It's right there, happening in front of them, right in front of their own eyeballs. They can hear it, they can see it, but they still believe the lie. And it just blows my mind. What kind of mindset do you have to have the kind of evidence like we've had against the JRC and still call what they do to those kids life-saving? Because if what the JRC's doing is life-saving and I was stuck in that place, put a fucking bullet in my head. Fuck it, reboot. Reboot, fuck that shit. I would rather have a fucking bullet through the back of my skull than set foot in that place. And that's a good fucking majority of us, JRC. I am hoping against goddamn hope because I've seen these bastards win too many times. I've had my hopes up, only to have them destroyed. We need something more permanent because these bastards always find to wheedle their way in to win and continue the torture of disabled people that has taken 6 lives and has laid waste to at least now 3 generations of students who have come through that school. I need it to be permanent this time. I need it to be so ironclad that there's nothing that JRC can fucking do to overturn it. And then I want to go harder. See, if we win this, folks, I'm still not done with the JRC or people like them. It is go time against every single adversive therapy out there. We're not done. We're coming for ABA. We're coming for all adversive treatments. We're coming for any and all therapies who say that we have to be neurotypical in order to be accepted as human beings. We're going to close out on that. We don't get very many views on this channel, especially on this subject. The few that we do get removed from time to time. So please don't forget to hit that like button, hit subscribe. Don't forget to hit the comments. Appreciate your time this morning. Let's celebrate, folks. God, just JRC sets my trigger off. Whew. I do hope everyone has a good one, all right? Bye-bye.